You like Mary's
Hello.
new tattoo? Looks
Oh
dope, right?
yeah, I saw it on Instagram. It looks super good.
It
Aye.
does look good. Hello, welcome back to the Zero Strategy Podcast, episode 33. Thank you for being here. We hope you're well. I'm joined today by my co-hosts. We have the Cyber Project,
Hello.
and we have Just Grog.
Hello.
And my name's Connie Fly. We got a lot to talk about. As always, though, we start off by catching up with everybody. So, Cyber, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
I don't know my ass from my elbow. I've been that busy. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Working 6 days a week and we're going into another lockdown.
Yay.
Yay for my mental health getting worse.
I never
hell.
left. I've been here since March. So
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Like the whole UK system was right. Let's open up bars and restaurants. Right. There's no spike in cases. Let's open up the unis and the schools. Huge spike in cases. You know what? Let's restrict the bars and the restaurants again. That seems to be the issue, and it's like, come on.
But then
So
they're like they're going into lockdown, but schools and things are staying open. Isn't that right? So
Yeah.
like, what's the point? It's just gonna keep spiking. I mean, right now I think we're at like the worst numbers we've been at in months.
especially in Scotland.
Yeah.
yeah, United States has broken records since it held back in spring. So we're already over what we were back in the spring. And then I think every 31 out of 50 states all saw massive increase in the last week. So yeah, it's cool.
Wear a
Yeah.
damn mask. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
We're all doomed. Let's face it.
I
But
just wish they would shut down the country for like 3 or 4 months.
wouldn't that
It
be
makes
nice?
sense.
Be pretty good. It'd be pretty good. But hey, I mean, at least we have Twitch, right? For now.
For now.
Grog, how have you been? How's your week been?
I've been pretty good. I did a redesign of my channel spontaneously. I wasn't really planning on it like in advance, but then I just kind of had this creative itch and then I felt compelled to scratch it. So then I lost a lot of sleep over the course of the middle of the week. But I'm happy with how things turned out. Did Lauren and I finally finished Call of Cthulhu yesterday on stream, which was fun.
Dude, you did a long stream yesterday. How long did you go for in the end?
I think it was 9 hours.
Damn.
It was our longest yet, but I mean, like Lauren and I did it together for like the first 5, and then the last like 4 were me. I wanted to read like spooky stories. I don't know if the format exactly like worked for Twitch. I wanted to just do something for Halloween since I had no parties to go to, and I couldn't walk around the neighborhood and check out the trick-or-treaters, and like I couldn't do any of the things that I would normally want to do. And I watch horror movies year round, so just like staying
Me
in
too.
and watching a horror movie like doesn't necessary. That's like not the thing that I need to mark off my Halloween bucket list, because I'll be doing that like Tuesday, like
Yeah.
so I don't know. The week's been pretty good, but I'm a bit disappointed that one of my favorite nights of the year was like not exactly the way I wanted it to be, but I was able to kind of like make the most of it, so it was good.
Just to kind of home in on that, have you seen the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the most recent one that came out? I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It's like Blair Witch 2, but it's just called the Blair Witch.
Yes. Not
Mhm.
as good, right? Not as good.
That film is phenomenal.
Really?
Oh, really?
What,
Okay.
the
It's-
remake?
Yes, it is so freaking good. It takes place with Heather, the woman for videographer that's in the first one.
Yes.
There's like 2 guys and a woman.
I've
Yeah.
seen it, but I seem to remember I didn't enjoy the sequel as much. Maybe I need to rewatch.
I didn't like it the first time I watched it. I rewatched it and it's so freaking good. Like you see the little quips that happen in the first one. Spoiler alert, by the way. So you see like the totems being made. You see the like the fingers and stuff like that, and the pouch. It adds all those elements, but a lot less subtly.
Hmm.
Like you'll see stuff out the corner of your eye, and it's like a totem right in front of somebody. I don't know if you can remember, but somebody actually snaps one of the totems. You remember that part?
Vaguely.
But it's one of the characters' like hairs and fingernails that are attached to the totem. So as soon as she snaps it, the woman's back snaps in half,
Oh.
like right on screen. I was like, holy shit!
Damn.
But
Fair
I'm a
enough.
huge horror thing, so I can appreciate watching horror films like all day around, like all the time.
See, I never did Halloween. Like, I've never been trick or treating in my life. Um, and yeah, like it just didn't. It felt like a normal day to me. I played that game Little Hope that just came out, and I gotta say, it was not. It was not great.
I've never even heard of it.
So
Would you say there was little hype?
yes, I would. You know, you guys are familiar with Until Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same developers, and they started a thing where they're doing the. It's called the Dark Pictures Anthology, which is like effectively short stories in video game format. You know, decision based, same as Until Dawn. And they did one last year called Man of Medan, which was really good. It was set on like a ghost ship, and it was super spooky and really, really just a lot of good time. And this is the sequel to, or I say sequel, but it's the next one in the anthology. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good story, but I had a few issues with the gameplay. And it was like what, it was like £30 for the game. I finished in 4 hours. I was kind of expecting that, but yeah, not my favorite. And I immediately deleted my VOD because I was scared I was going to get DMCA'd because there was a lot of music in it. So yeah, I don't know. Feel like I could have made a better choice with that, with the Halloween one.
So everybody in chat, that was a fish that we've had for literally like 8 months, and Kai fucking eats everything. I've lost like 20 pairs of socks because he likes to eat them, and then he shits them out, and then I have to clean that shit up as well.
And then you darn them back into the old socks.
Oh my god, like we're losing my mind. He just eats everything. It's like, what the actual fuck?
Well, anyway, we have things to discuss this week, so we should jump into it. Actually, we should mention as well, this past week we did our first ever Zero Strategy off-topic episode.
Which I think turned out great.
Yeah, so the idea was that we wanted to basically start a second podcast that would kind of run in parallel to this one, but it's not related to DMCAs and Twitch and all the normal things we talk about. And it's a bit more of a, I would say like an IRL, just entertainment-based podcast. So we started out by playing Never Have I Ever with a few drinks.
We learned a lot about humps and how we got arrested a lot as a child.
Yeah, we learned a lot about everybody, I think. So that episode is on Spotify. If you want to go and listen to it, you can find it on Spotify. It will be on YouTube at some point. But for now, it is up on Spotify. So if you enjoy it, please let us know. It seemed like people in the live chat were having a good time, but we want to do more of those. So keep an eye out for more of those coming in future. But yeah, back to the DMCA podcast. The first thing I have on the docket here, a few weeks ago, we talked about the changes that Twitch made to raids, which was that they would no longer appear in the API or in your chat if it was under 10. And that was a pretty poorly received change from Twitch. And then Twitch kind of acknowledged it, and they said, you know, we acknowledge this is like not the best solution, and they're trying to counter like malicious bot attacks, spamming with like 1 viewer raids. But it appears to have changed. There was a while there where it looked as if they lowered the limit to less than 5 wouldn't show.
Yep. I think that was the case, because for me, initially it was the 10 or under wouldn't show. Then I rated someone with, I think, 8 people, and it showed, and then I was excited. And then I did like a short stream with Lauren like a couple days later, and we rated somebody with like 5 people, and it didn't show. So I was like, well, okay, well, clearly the threshold went down. But now you said you got one the other day for 1, so it's kind of back to where it was.
Yeah, a 1 viewer raid popped up in my API, which showed and it seemed to work. So it appears that they've kind of just reverted it all back to how it was. As far as I'm aware, Twitch haven't commented about that and about what they plan to do, because they have made it clear they're looking at other solutions to deal with the bot attacks. And Twitch, we've made suggestions. Just listen to this podcast and tell it. We'll give you the ideas. But that's kind of a cool thing to see. Just kind of worth mentioning. The next topic we have is this Call of Duty streamer who was follow botted. So one of these malicious bot attacks. The funny thing was well, I say funny. It's not really funny, but he had around 10,000 followers, and then he was follow botted to now over 3 million followers on Twitch, which is
300%.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know what the what action has been taken, if any, but yeah, the streamer now has over 3 million follows, and the huge majority of these are bots. So what's our thoughts on that?
It's kind of interesting from like a first person perspective, because if you're not live, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I get an email if somebody follows me and I'm not live. So can you imagine getting?
Oh, I turned that shit off.
Yeah, it goes in my trash
3
bin.
million emails. Yeah.
I seem to only get, like, I'll get one, and then like one per day, and then if I get more than one follow per day, the rest of them don't come through for some reason. So I don't know.
It just seems like an incredible length to go to either A, piss somebody off, or B, support that streamer. Because
I have to think that people are doing it as a means to troll others. Like I just don't know how anyone in their right mind would think that like getting X number of fake accounts, be it 100 or 100 million, would in any way influence like the viewership of a channel. Either they clearly have no understanding of how Twitch works and the fact that like follows does not equate to viewers, or I think in most cases it's just people who are doing it almost like a prank call. They just want to get a rise out of people, live, and they want to see people get excited that they got a bunch of follows, but then like watch that surprise turn into horror as then you realize like the alerts aren't stopping. It's going on for tens of minutes, an hour or more, and then you're just like, please make it stop. I have to imagine that it's just people fucking about in most cases. I'm sure there's some people who've been misguided and thinking it's going to be the right thing for their channel, or maybe they think they're helping a friend, but like, I don't think you accidentally follow bot for 3 million if you weren't just trying to fuck with somebody.
I can't be cheap either for whoever's
purchasing
these bots.
Well, even think about, like, if you take the money aspect, think of the amount of time that, even if they ran a bot to create all these fake accounts, how long that would have taken, even if it was a second each.
Yeah.
That's still a long ass time to try and troll somebody.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if anything, I think somebody brought it up in chat, drama creates exposure. So if you think about it, if they did it maliciously, they've only helped them.
Absolutely.
And he probably, in a roundabout way, I 100% agree with what Grog said, where followers doesn't equate to viewers. But in this instance, if you take into account all the drama, I bet you a lot more people have got eyes on him now.
That's true.
Even
they
if
probably click through a link, like they read an article, they read a Twitter thing, and then they click through their page just to see like, oh, did this guy really get that many follows? And then maybe they check them out. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where you've got way too much time on your hands if you wanna do something like that. I imagine that's either one or a very small group of people doing that, and just why? Like, I don't really understand it.
Well, like you say, I think like in general, a follow bot attack is generally a malicious thing. I've been follow botted nowhere near 3 million, thank God. But we had Pigeon on previously who's experienced it. But yeah, in this case, because of the amount, like you say, it is actually probably gonna help that streamer in some way, because people are talking about him now, which is can only be a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know the answer to stopping all these bot issues on Twitch. And Twitch, for the most part, don't seem to really be that bothered about removing these fake accounts themselves. The first thing I did when I got follow botted, did you as well, Cyber? You got follow botted, right?
Yeah. Yep, for 900-ish.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? The first thing I did was email Twitch and say, I've received approximately this many fake follows on this day, help me. And they didn't even respond to the ticket. I know there's tools you can use, third-party tools, to remove fake follows, But obviously, we know Pigeon had a kind of a horror story with that, so I've been scared to. I've been scared
Deleted
to look
all
at
of
it.
his followers by mistake.
I think that was user error though. Like I love Pigeon,
Oh,
but
the way he described it, it was definitely user error.
Yeah.
But I think Twitch, it's not even on their radar. If you think about the amount of fake accounts that must be created every single day, I would imagine that it would need to be like an actual employee that would need to look at it and go, "Is this fake?" And it's not even worth their time. It's really
Yeah.
not. But I do
Because they'd
see,
have it's 300 million, or sorry, 3 million instances that they would have to verify.
Yeah.
Which let's
It's-
be honest.
in Twitch fashion, it's not going to happen. I think I've lost my train of thought. I think there's a lot of people that are pushing for partner as well, and you see these people getting follow botted and viewer botted, and because of the Twitch rules, if they see that you've got inflated viewership through means that isn't recognized as a unique viewer, then it completely kicks you off. But I don't really understand why giving 3 million followers to just a random person, because correct me if I'm wrong, but until recently, no one really knew who he was.
Yeah, I honestly have only seen like the headlines and read up on it briefly, so I couldn't actually even tell you the name of the streamer off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the article described him as a small streamer. I mean, they still say he had around 10K followers previously. So, you know, whether you'd class that as a small streamer or not, I don't really know. But certainly not one of the sort of big names on Twitch for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. I wonder if we see what Twitch's response will be, if anything.
Nothing.
I mean, we know that. I mean, do Twitch deactivate like dormant accounts after a certain period of time?
Apparently, yes, after a year to free up usernames. But I've been trying to get Cyber for a very long time, and the user account literally hasn't even streamed once or been active online for the last 3 years. So take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. Well, interesting one nonetheless. So there's another one I saw. A headline came up with Twitch is basically targeting users using third-party tools such as AdBlock, with messages stating that it may be impacting site performance, quote, and they're effectively recommending that they disable AdBlock. Obviously, we know Twitch is kind of pushing ads right now. That's a big thing. So they are doing these as it seems. I haven't seen them personally. I'm just going on what I've kind of read online about it, but it seems
And
that
there's
they
screenshots too.
Yes, they appear to show up like ads on a stream, and apparently they are 2 10-second PSAs every 10 minutes that will show up. I've got a link to the Twitter account with the screenshots here that I will throw in. And basically, yeah, this is just Twitch basically saying, you know, they're detecting. They say third-party tools. I don't know what else it could be other than AdBlock. I mean, I'm not sure what other, because we know there's third-party sites such as Bear Twitch TV and stuff like that, which I can't imagine they're trying to get rid of.
If they remove,
There's integration with those.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, like you say, Condi, it's just going to be ad blocker. There's multiple different ways that you can block ads on the site. Angry doggo. I think one of the biggest things that I see from this is obviously Twitch to a lot of people seems unprofitable, and we've spoken about this before. Like they made a lot of money last year, but do you? I'll ask this question to everybody: if that PSA pops up on your favorite streamer's stream, would you disable them or would you just keep them there? Because if you think about it, a lot of partnered streamers have to physically run. I think it's 300 seconds worth of ad breaks every hour, and you can sit through 20 seconds worth of a PSA.
Yeah, but if it is every 10 minutes that's popping up, I would personally find that super annoying. I don't use AdBlock, but I would find that super annoying.
Yeah, I would too.
I do feel like it's going to turn people off from using it. which again is just kind of forcing you to watch those ads and make the money for Twitch. I mean, we know based on kind of how they've been historically with adding new ads, and they had mid-roll ads suddenly popping up and stuff like that. Clearly the ads is a big thing that Twitch are targeting right now. But yeah, this is I don't know, is there a way they can get around adblock without doing this? You know, I've heard of certain adblock not working with certain sites and things like that. I don't really know too much about how it works, but I've not heard of any site doing this before.
So if you think about it, in the world of technology, there's always a way to get around something. All you need to do is find the point in the source code and skip it. So if it's not available now, you will be able to get to that point. I think one of the biggest things is it will eventually hurt their money, because if you think about every other revenue stream, it's always a flat rate. If you look at subs, if you look at bits, it's always a flat rate monetary value.
Yeah.
Whereas ads, if you look at there was a politician that hit, I think it was 400,000 concurrent viewers. If you look at how much ad revenue that could have brought in, I think they'll eventually keep changing the code to make sure those PSAs are always there.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
And honestly, I don't really see, personally, I don't have a problem with it. Like in terms of Twitch doing that as a prompt to be just a little prodding to say, hey, you know, turn off your ad blocker for our site. Because honestly, as a streamer, I turn off ad blocker for YouTube and I turn it off for Twitch. I use it for the internet. I have it built into Opera, and if I use Firefox, I have it on for Firefox as well. But I have these websites cleared because I know that the people who are generating content on those sites are making not a lot of revenue, but they are making a very small portion of revenue from ads. Now, is Twitch making, you know, the windfall of, you know, money from this? Sure, of course. But also the streamers do get a very small percentage. And anything that, I mean, if it means like a 30-second ad, I'm not going to like, you know, flip out and, you know, throw my phone out the window in a rage because I had to watch 30 seconds, you know, of a commercial. I'd rather the person just, you know, get the cash for it, whatever. And also too, the way they chose to implement it is kind of interesting, because it's like you can either get the pre-roll ad at the beginning of a stream, or it seems like if you have the ad block on, you get a bunch of mid-roll ads every 10 minutes. What's actually more annoying, getting one 30-second ad at the pre-roll or getting multiple ads prompting in between? I don't think it's a hard decision. Just like, I don't know, clear the website, allow it to like show what it shows, and then move on. Seems like a lot of like no big deal to me.
Yeah. It's just interesting, I think, that we're seeing Twitch actually try something new. And honestly, I think it's effective. And I do think they will put people off of using adblock. I mean, it doesn't benefit streamers really unless you're in the sort of upper echelon of viewership. You know, maybe these big streamers will see a bump in their ad revenue based on this, but let's face it, it's not going to affect like the people of our size. Most streamers on Twitch, you're not going to see any difference in your ad revenue anyway. So, but hey, interesting thing to keep an eye on. Now to the big one, our favorite topic, which is DMCAs. So again, if you're a listener of this show, you know we've talked about it a lot recently. There was that whole sort of thing that happened recently where Twitch notified a bunch of streamers that there was going to be, or that there had been DMCAs on the account, and effectively Twitch said, don't worry about those, it's fine, we got it. But as of, I want to say it was like Friday the 23rd of October.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
That wasn't even Friday, the 23rd was a Monday, but regardless, they said as of this date, DMCA processing will go back to normal, right? Which I think we kind of showed that, you know, Twitch seemed to have taken all responsibility for DMCA for a while, and now it's back to normal again. So fairly, well, certainly I would say a popular streamer, Jake and Bake, received a DMCA on his account. This was from, according to his Twitter, a clip from 2.5 years ago, and it was an IRL stream. So if you're not familiar with Jake, certainly while before the pandemic, a lot of his content was IRL, walking around, exploring places, and doing all that kind of thing. So he thinks that this DMCA came from him walking past a store that was playing some music on a 30-second clip from 2.5 years ago, and he received a DMCA takedown for that clip.
And I'm pretty sure he knows that it was, because if he actually posted the message that he got from Twitch in full, and it lists the claimant as RIAA, and it also links directly to the clip in question. So I mean, he knows which thing it came from.
Yeah.
Basically, it was him walking past a shop that was playing a Kanye West song, and so this Kanye West song very audibly comes over the clip, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely a different conversation that we've had before, because we, like, around the table, we all know it's up to the creator to protect themselves. Don't use copyrighted music, you won't get a DMCA, right? But this is a totally different conversation where he didn't intend to play that music, but because he was sharing an IRL stream, that it's almost part of the business. Like, how do you mute that section? Because I don't know if you've ever watched his stream, but he wears an IRL backpack and it's always on.
Yep.
There's no easy way to mute it. So like, it's not like he goes into a shopping mall and like the radio's playing and he can like mute it and move out of the way. It's always on. And I think it's almost going to become like an occupational hazard where IRL streamers could potentially get flagged no matter what.
Well, it's gonna hurt IRL, like, big time.
Especially if you look at the majority of IRL, it's predominantly like just chatting. But there's a lot of streamers on there that do go out and do visit a lot of places where there's no way of getting around it. It almost will become an occupational hazard.
Yeah.
And
I guess right now the only thing he could really have done, and there's no way for him to have known this because this is 2.5 years ago, before, you know, organizations like RIAA weren't like being real dicks about pursuing these like copyright claims, that basically all he could have done would just be to have deleted the clip and deleted the VOD. Because if that had happened, he wouldn't have been marked. If he did it that day and like looked back at his own VOD and said, or thought like, when I was walking around today, did I encounter any audio that potentially would have been harmful to me getting flagged? But the thing is, this wasn't on anyone's radar 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And therein lies the issue. It's like, well, he knows now. Like it's difficult, right? Because like I don't think none of us would be in the position to victim blame this guy. Clearly, he did not intend for it to be part of his content in a way that like he would even wish to jeopardize himself. He would never want that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's safe to say. And like clearly he also wasn't doing it as a means to like co-opt the, you know, Kanye West's music and use it for his own means. It was just incidental audio that happened to be in the background. So I guess the question is there, I mean, until the law is rewritten, I guess it does have to be, just as Cyber pointed out, an occupational hazard. Because like there would have to be a clause or a provision in there where someone could contest to a claimant that this was an incidental piece that was not even like broadcast on behalf of the Twitch streamer, but simply was just there, you know, like if someone driving by in a car. And
Yeah.
I mean, even if let's say you're broadcasting at home and you have your windows open, it's hot, and then somebody comes by and they're blaring music, you know, is somebody gonna like get at you because they overheard like a song, you know, playing over the radio? I guess in theory they could, if you didn't delete your clip and it stayed around in your recording.
Absolutely. No matter
which
how
is
careful
totally
you are.
bullshit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
But unfortunately, the way that is written currently.
Well, the thing is, I mean, we know that like even Twitch, and I know that the whole argument that, you know, obviously DMCA is not a Twitch thing, is the law, and Twitch doesn't have a say in it. But, you know, we've seen Twitch acknowledge that there is times where the streamer doesn't have control over it. You know, there's times where, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I guess if a viewer links you something that's, you know, potentially TOS, if it's not your fault and you make every effort to get rid of it as quick as possible, then, you know, there's cases where you wouldn't necessarily get banned for that. I had another one in my head, which was, yeah, the banned streamer situation. I mean, there was that whole thing where if a banned streamer shows up on your stream, you would get banned. But then they updated it to say, we understand sometimes this is out of your control, and as long as you make every effort to try and correct it, then we won't ban you. So Twitch are acknowledging that there's times that you don't have that control over these things. Yeah. Unfortunately, that it doesn't apply to the DMCA issue. And I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm paranoid about music in games now. I was just saying we played Little Hope last night, and there was some music in that. And you know, there's multiple times where music played, and there was sometimes music that I recognized as like, yeah, I know this song, and I immediately deleted the VOD when I was finished with that game. I know a lot of other streamers, you know, bigger name streamers were streaming that game as well, but I just thought, why risk it? Why take the chance?
I think one of the biggest things is like I do acknowledge what you're saying, but a lot of it's like Twitch policy. So like a banned streamer is a Twitch policy.
Yes.
Whereas like people don't realize that like Google are so afraid of the music industry that they pay them automatically. It's one of those things where like they are so afraid of how poorly the DMCA law is currently written to like modern standards that they literally just go, here's your money, take it. Like they don't even fight anything. So I think we're gonna see a lot more of these. I think it's gonna become it's not gonna be the smaller to the mid-tier streamers. I think they're actually gonna go after the bigger streamers to set an example. If you imagine like Tim, Summit, XQC, all of those people, if they can manage to pin something on them and sue them, then imagine how the industry will change after that fact. Because I don't think a lot of people, like everyone seems to think that it's going to be isolated to your Twitch account and, oh, I'll lose my Twitch account if I get DMCA'd. But they can sue you, and they can go after you for a lot of money. So it's not
right,
only...
because the claim from, in this case, like the claimant is Twitch is passing you the message, but they are filing the claim against you. If they choose to take legal proceedings, you're the one who's getting fucked. Twitch actually is not going to be in that fight at all, because Twitch is no different than YouTube or Facebook or any other platform. You are the person who would be taken to court.
Yeah.
And it is not, whether or not, you know, it's right or wrong for the person to have realized that some background music that they didn't even plan on happened to show up. The responsibility is really on whether or not the claimant should be making the claim. This is like clearly on RIAA for making a bogus claim.
Yeah.
Because let's be frank, there are plenty of instances where DMCA claims could happen and they would be justified in happening, because you have folks like Nick Merckx who's just like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm not going to delete anything, I'm going to play whatever I want. And I heard from somebody who heard from somebody that it's all cool, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, that person is going to get a claim against them, and they will be justified in getting that claim because of how they chose to just be cavalier about, you know, like observing the law as written. The law should be rewritten. But again, until these things happen, you kind of have to decide, drive under the speed limit or continue speeding. And I just think that like it doesn't matter. Like I think also too, you have these claimants who are just, it's bullshit. Like RIAA is going after this guy for what? For 20 seconds of a Kanye West song that he didn't play?
Yep.
That's not on Twitch. That's not on Jake. That's on RIAA for making a bogus claim.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it not like the majority is automated as well? So it'll just like scan your clips. So it's not only on the claimant as well, but it's also how poorly the bot was written.
Yeah.
So
well, and that the bot could be flagging these things, but then it also means there's no peer review happening.
Exactly.
So like the bot could be excellent at doing its job, but that means that it needs to be given to a human being rather than, I mean, like if we're going to throw anyone under the bus, it's whoever decided to sign off on an algorithm to just have a blank check to flag any and all things that come up as a yes, and simply file a claim against it regardless of the circumstances involved. Clearly no one looked at his clip, clearly no one saw that he was walking about, and this is, you know, akin to just someone coming by and blasting some music and then he's out. So that's on that. I mean, that, you know, there's so many problem points along this chain where it's like it's both issues with the law itself because it's 22 years old and out of date. It's also, people making bogus claims. It's also, you know, then at the other end of the spectrum, you have streamers who just don't fucking care about what happens to their channel and they're going to play, whatever they want to play.
Yeah.
I think one of the most notable ones that still pisses me off to the day is Herman Lee, who actually played some of the music that he writ himself from Dragon Force, and the music company filed an actual claim against them. Well,
Yes.
it wasn't the it was the bot that picked up the algorithm and then
Right.
gave him a DMCA. But if you think about it, like I said this week about last week about T-Pain, if somebody who literally wrote that music and has almost like intellectual property on it is still getting flagged, what hope have the rest of us got?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost going to be like a cutthroat, ruthless attack on everybody, and it's better just not to play it. Almost, for a lack of a better term, delete it off your PC. Like, don't even have the ability to accidentally play a song that you know is not copyright free.
Yeah. There's a few things there. I mean, I think the Herman Lee thing, obviously, it's funny, but we all understand why it happened. Because just because he wrote the music doesn't mean he owns the rights to it, etc., etc. And I've got to imagine in his case, he's able to directly contact somebody at the label or the publisher and get that claim taken away, right? I have to imagine in that circumstance, he's got a contact to speak to. A question in chat asking, can a streamer fight this claim and has that been successful? I have no idea if it's ever successfully happened. Technically, you can. 9 times out of 10, 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to be pointless to do so. When I got the DMCA on my Twitter account and they banned my Twitter, Twitter came to me and said, we'll unban your account if you get the claimant to drop one. Now, in this case, obviously, I had about 50 separate DMCAs that all happened at once. But all
for the same song.
All for the same song, yeah. All Twitter said was, if you can get the claimant to drop one of these claims, we'll reinstate your Twitter. And they give you a very vague, here's who claimed it, you're on your own, off you go. Now, Lil Conde with 500 Twitter followers, I sent them an email, but that is as far as it ever got. Nobody ever looked at that email. Nobody ever did anything about it. And I'm not about to go and start hiring a lawyer to go and try and fight this case, and technically, I suppose, there's an argument for, was it fair use, was it transformative content? I don't want to fight over that. Technically, I suppose I understand why the bot picked it up and why the DMCA came through. Maybe if you're a larger streamer and you know that what you did wasn't directly justifying the DMCA, maybe you could fight it. But you're gonna really it'll involve going to some kind of, I don't know, small claims court or something like that.
100%. I think one of the issues, like, it's a good point to raise, but one of the biggest issues of fighting it is you accept liability. You accept that you have done something in the eyes of the law that isn't correct. So Twitch has given us an out where we can delete the clips and the VODs and move on with the rest of the day, and obviously the claim goes away. But as soon as you take it to court, the only person that can seriously say if it's fair use or transformative is the original creator. And if they have already filed a DMCA against you, they're not going to say that it's fair use. They're going to say that you ripped off their work and they want compensation for it. So
in the case of Jake and Bake, he got the contact, basically the claimant provided who they were, RIAA, and the Recording Industry Association of America. And the claimant contact email is just anti-piracy at RIAA. And that's who he's supposed to contact, which it's just a black hole.
Yep.
You're sending an email to God knows what. And
it's, like I say, I think sort of 9 times out of 10, it's not the smart decision. Whether you're even in the right or wrong, it's probably more hassle than it's worth. And I think I'll be amazed if that actually comes out and somebody does challenge and try and fight a DMCA legally, in court and everything. So
I think in the case of Jake, he would probably be successful because he didn't use it. It was in the background. He had no intention of using that music. But anyone that just plays a random band that isn't copyright free, there's no getting out of it. You're literally taking yourself to court to fail.
Yeah.
And if you think how much legislation that the record industry has went through over the past 20 years, you can imagine the size of their legal team, right?
Yeah,
So
their
that they
pockets are deep.
and if you think of like a huge streamer, like any of the big names out there, it doesn't matter how big their pocket is, the record industry's pocket is going to be so much deeper, and they're going to have the contacts and they're going to have the legal team to actually fight it. These companies have, like, if not hundreds of lawyers working like across the country and across the world for contracts, contract disputes, legislation, all that kind of stuff. So you can imagine the team that would come after these people. It's losing. It's a losing battle,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is, because there's so many lawyers involved, you can imagine all of the good ones already associated with these companies.
Yeah.
So you're almost hiring somebody that might potentially not know every single loophole, and these people do. So it's going to be like a TV show where you see somebody just getting absolutely railed in the courtroom, and it only takes one instance as well for the entire precedent to be set. But saying that, imagine if that once that precedent has been set, they look at the law and say maybe it's not correct.
Yeah. It's I mean, I know there's some precedent on YouTube where, you know, there has been fair use cases fought in court and set a precedent for fair use.
Yeah.
Like I say, Twitch, it's just going to be a different thing. The 9 times out of 10, in fact, I would say every single time, you are better to just try and avoid getting that DMCA in the first place. And if you do receive a DMCA, then you have to most likely just take it on the chin and make sure it doesn't happen again. You know, it is interesting, and I do want to kind of talk a little bit about this Nick Merckx clip that has been just going around. I've seen so many times, and I can't decide. If for anyone that needs the context, he's having a conversation with Tim the Tatman, and he makes a sort of, he makes a comment like, you know, I should have got in contact with you earlier, but I see that you've already deleted everything. You know, he says this to Tim. And Tim's like, well, yeah, you know, I don't want to risk getting a DMCA. And then Nick kind of vaguely suggests that he's spoken to someone at Twitch and he's happy with leaving everything as is and he's not worried about it. And I'm struggling to tell if this is like an ego thing of like, well, I'm one of the biggest creators on the platform. What are they going to do?
Took the words out of my mouth.
Or is it, you know, has Twitch said something like, we'll protect you? You know, what is... I don't know what it is. I find it hard to believe it would be that, but
I think it has to be an ego thing, because like Tim's reaction is, at first he's like, wait, are you just fucking with me? Like, you know, like, because the way Nick responded at first, you think, oh, you know, maybe it's just he's being sarcastic. He's this is a bit. He's playing a bit right now. And then like as it goes on, it becomes more and more obvious. Like the clip is like almost like 6 minutes, maybe 8 minutes long. It's of them going back and forth. And you know, Nick doesn't like raise his temper or nothing, but he's clearly being serious.
yeah,
And he's just like, look, I don't know who you talked to, but you weren't talking to the right people. I talked to, you know, I had a contact and I talked to somebody, and, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, I think a lot of people are overreacting about this thing, and I think it'll be fine. And I think Tim's reaction was the right one, which is just like, dude, like, this isn't about like someone at Twitch saying it's okay. This is a law that was written like 20 plus years ago. Like, it's the law that's on the books. Like, they're going to persecute you or prosecute you based on the law. Like, Twitch, because even Tim says Twitch has nothing to do with it. He's like,
Yep.
Twitch is just upholding like their legal obligation as a middle party to this. But like, you know, he points out, he's like, other companies had to deal with this too with their content creators. Like, why do you think that you would be any different? And Nick just doesn't really give a firm answer. He's just like, you know, you're just not talking to the right people.
Yeah.
I think one of the issues I had is, like, we all know Nick Merckx has got a huge ego, and I'm no like shape or way am I saying that he's stupid. But the fact that he didn't seek legal counsel and he trusted somebody at Twitch, I
Well,
wouldn't be doing that.
that's the, he didn't directly say that, but that's certainly the impression that he left, right?
Well, he said he's spoken to somebody at Twitch. He said to Tim, "You might not have spoken to the same person that I did."
True, yeah.
And
He
then
said something like we were in a different classroom or something.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
It's just
yeah.
it's crazy because these people can sue you for hundreds of thousands of dollars, sorry, and I wouldn't be trusting anybody at Twitch. I would phone my lawyer and get them to speak to somebody who was actually knowledgeable in the correct legislation, and then find out what they would say. I wouldn't trust, because the only thing, let's no shadow of a doubt, Twitch is only there to protect their safe harbor. They're not there to protect anybody, right? So we've seen that recently with Dr. Disrespect. They got rid of one of the highest grossing uh, streamers on the platform, and overnight he was gone. So they're not afraid to get rid of the big names. And if you think about, if Twitch get persecuted, I don't think they'll protect anybody. They'll say it was him that played it, not us. We told him here was his DMCA, like you prompted us to do. There's the man that you need to speak to. Here's all of his contact information. We're done.
Of course, yeah, they have to. They don't have a choice there.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're totally right. Well, I mean, I'm just fascinated to see what comes of it, you know. And
he's got huge balls, to think that he's not going to get attacked.
My only real concern coming out of this is, like you said, he's not stupid. He's a smart guy. I may not agree with like the fact that he's letting his ego walk himself off a cliff, but the thing is, my concern is for the people who follow him and the people that will watch a clip, you know, on Twitter after the fact and out of context, just take this guy's word as gospel, and they just keep on doing what they're doing, and they themselves are going to run into issues where they might jeopardize their channel based on one guy's ego, because he knows he came from YouTube, he came over to Twitch, he was part of a big deal, he got $1 million contract, multi-million-dollar contract, and you figure he could just be talking out his ass because he has clout. So he could be using that clout to just feel like to cushion the blow for himself, to say like, I feel like I'm big enough of a deal and you and I, Tim, are big enough of a deal that it's not going to be a problem. But those weren't the words that he used.
Yeah.
The words that he used is like, we're fine. Like, you did a thing that you didn't need to do, and I wish you hadn't deleted your stuff. I don't think people are going to need to do that based on who I talk to at Twitch. I just worry that that is going to affect people's decisions on a micro level, and that you're going to see people who aren't going to go out of their way to educate themselves. They're not going to go out of the way to read any articles, but they are a regular viewer of Nick Merckx because he's pulling in thousands of viewers per stream. And he's also generating tons of views on other platforms as like Twitter and like YouTube, etc. And especially when a clip like this gets picked up, it's then rebroadcast. It's then other broadcasters use it as a talking point. We're using it as a talking point. So then like it gets traction, and the spread of it is so much larger, but some people may not give it the context that it needs, and they may fuck up their channel. And that frustrates me to no end, because I just don't want anyone to just blindly walk off a cliff because, you know, Nick Merckx said it's going to be fine.
True. I mean, I think if you're a creator on Twitch that's kind of halfway taking it seriously, then you've heard of this whole DMCA thing. And
yeah,
you know, again, I don't think anybody can say that there's not been enough time to educate ourselves. I mean, you brought up last week, Grog, that I think was during the onboarding of a new channel, they should cover it. And it turns out that they do. Yeah, we checked it after the show, and it turns out that in the onboarding, when you create a new channel and you decide I'm going to stream, part of the kind of quote unquote tutorial that Twitch offer does include a whole section about copyright. And there was actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Twitch Creator Camp, which is their kind of take on Twitch, I guess, education or trying to support creators, where they do these sort of Q&As with bigger streamers and relevant people. They recently did a whole workshop on copyright and how to protect yourself and etc. etc. So I can see that Twitch is trying. Granted, you have to kind of go looking for that information a little bit, but
I'm
Similar
happy to
to
learn
how,
that they added it to the onboarding. That's
yeah,
huge. I think that's
absolutely.
very important, and that's responsible on their part. Because when I did it, that was not part of the process.
Yeah.
But you know, but I feel like that is the responsibility of these middle parties. If you're going to have a content creator bringing material to market through this intermediary, the intermediary's role is to at least brief that person on what they may jeopardize if they don't follow the rules as written. Because the thing is, if you ask me to quote some sort of obscure real estate law, it's like, no, I don't fucking know what that is because I'm not a real estate agent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not our place. Like, there isn't. No one had to be taught don't murder someone because it's against the law. Like, most people just take that for face value. Like, you shouldn't murder somebody. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of those things where people often just try to go with their common sense, but when you have laws that are so archaic and specific and finicky like DMCA, you don't expect that people are going to innately know that.
Hmm.
So I do appreciate that they took the time to add that into their onboarding, because I think that is an onus that they need to bear, and the fact that they've done it actually makes me quite happy.
Yeah, definitely a good move. Anyway, let's move on a little bit from DMCA to kind of the last topic we have here, which is the unban feature. So I'm going to quote a little bit of what I read from the Twitter post that they made regarding this. So to quote them, they said, "We've added a widget in mod view that lets you manage unban requests. Channel banned users can submit an appeal through the chat column, which you can review and take action on anonymously." So I think you said that you kind of read up on this a bit, Cyber. Do you want to explain this while I quickly be right back?
Yep. So essentially, it goes on the precedent that no user thinks that they were justly banned. So there was a little bit of community outrage. Reddit was completely flooded with it, and the only real thing that you could do was either email the content creator directly, which Asmongold had an entire section on his stream where he would review people's like unbans and literally highlight the text of everything that they had said and go through it and say, "Oh man, you were just being a dick for like the last 30 days. You're
Yeah.
not getting unbanned." But Twitch have actually implemented a feature now where you like directly through the UI you can click and submit as many tickets as you want to get unbanned. And I think it's probably one of these features that falls into the realms of the bot raids, where no one really asked about it, no one really wanted it from a streamer's perspective, only from a viewer like perspective, because they wanted to be unbanned in a streamer's chat. And I think it's just opening up a whole new way to basically attack a streamer, especially if they're in mod view, because they can see every single one of these. And if you look at one of the bigger creators that have got like tens of thousands of viewers, they're not doing any moderation on chat. They either pay or they trust people within their mod squad to completely get rid of all the dead weight and people who are either being racist, sexist, or whatever. Um, and it's ludicrous that it's even a thing. It's almost taken the responsibility away from the streamer in a very slight way, because it gives the viewer a way to directly interact with that channel again. They're not banned in the chat. They still have a way of interacting with the chat. Um, and if you think about it, if somebody within the community says something directly to the streamer, they're not saying it to chat to get a rise. They're saying it directly to the streamer. And if they can actually appeal this and then say something hurtful again, then I don't see what the point of that feature is. I can understand the reasoning behind it, where like people will accidentally get banned. Whips in Tim the Tatman stream is like notable for misclicking and banning people randomly by mistake. But I think it's a feature that we don't need. We really don't need.
Yeah.
I-
So can I just ask,
yeah.
do these unban requests, do they pop up in chat?
In mod chat.
No. Mod,
mod view,
yeah.
right? So they can't. If you're banned from a stream, you can't still be posting things in chat through the unban requests.
Correct.
So
You will be invisible to the rest of the community, save the potentially the creator if they have mod view open and or mods that are using mod view.
Because if you think about it, the only real way that you could communicate through Twitch if you were banned was whispers.
Right.
So I think the majority of the effort to develop this feature was to take away the whispers and give you a direct route to appeal your ban.
Okay, and can a streamer turn this off, or is this just
no?
Right, you can't opt out.
No.
So I guess it's a case of just ignore it if you don't want to deal with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But one of the reasons why you ban a particular person in chat is to get rid of them. Like, they're either doing something that's pissing you off, or they're saying something that's hurtful, whether it be to a different community or to yourself. And the fact that they're giving the banned viewer the option to pop up somewhere again it just seems like an ill-thought way of doing things.
It's problematic. I think it's what complicates it is that I'm sure that from Twitch's point of view, if you just zoom out on a macro level and look at it objectively, I think they just felt like they didn't have a tool in place for anyone that may have legitimately been unjustly banned. And just like how we have these DMCA claims come through, and then it's unclear how to get in touch with the claimant clearly to like resolve the issue. This was their effort to say, okay, well, if you feel like you've been banned, obviously you can't go back to chat. The only thing you could do is whisper someone, but then that's like now you're taking it off of the Twitch channel page and now taking it into their personal account communication, which is like a different kind of infringement. So let's give them an opportunity through the channel specifically to appeal the ban if it was unjust. And the thing is, you're 100% right. More often than not, the person that was banned got banned for a reason. There's no need to appeal it. Simply, they did something that was not in accordance with the values that that community has or that streamer has. But the thing is that I also read an article about this, and one of the things they pointed out is sometimes people have been banned, for kind of like nitpicky stuff. Like if it's like a no spoilers stream of a game and somebody like accidentally spoils something in the game, that's shitty. Somebody might ban you for that. But I mean, ultimately, that isn't like a card. Like to me, it's not like a scarlet letter that you need to wear for the rest of your life and never return to that channel again because you dropped a spoiler in a no spoilers channel, or you were a backseat gamer, and the person didn't want you to be backseat gaming. I think there could be arguments made, but I think the margin of legitimate arguments is going to be so small that the only way to really look at this is through the lens of people who did this with harmful intent, are now going to come back, and they're just at the very least going to berate the moderators for a channel, and at the most berate both the moderators and the channel creator, as they already did, which is likely why they got banned. So,
well, but Grog, what if my little brother was on my PC and he said something bad and I didn't?
I've heard that one before.
And then I got banned because of that,
My dog was on the computer at the time. And
my
called
cat
you a
ran over
fucking
my
nitwit.
keyboard and was like, "Lol, noob," and that wasn't me. Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because here's the way I'm looking at it. I guess is that in a smaller channel where it is easier to moderate your chat, like you say, pretty much exclusively, there's a reason for every person that's banned. I mean, I assume it's the same in your guys' channel, but everybody who's banned from my stream, there's a reason that they're banned. Yep. Right. And I'm not going to unban someone if they're banned from my stream. Right. The other side of that coin, though, is that, if you're in a stream with 20, 30, 40,000 viewers, there's a very good chance that maybe maybe a mod banned you for an unjust reason. Maybe there was something said in chat that they took the wrong way, or, it's sorry, I'm distracted by the chat that's happening right now. They're being flooded with bots. But yeah, like it was, maybe a mod acted, unjustly and just banned someone. And because of the size of the stream, the streamer's unaware of it. Maybe you know, something was taken out of context, or even something silly like a typo, which then, you know, made something look worse than it was, or I don't know, right? But then the other thing, like I can see in that scenario where you were unfairly banned, right? Great. Then it's still happening. Then the appeal system makes sense. However, in a stream of that scale, the amount of, oh my God, what is happening?
We're now being not follow botted, but ad botted by bigfollows.com while we're on stream.
4, 5, 6, like 7 of them. Jeez. Sorry. Yeah. What I was saying, in a big stream where there's thousands and thousands of viewers, yeah, maybe you did get banned unjustly, but how is your unban request supposed to go through when there's presumably thousands of unban requests? How, you know, who's looking at that and taking it seriously? I like the idea of it, but I feel like there isn't a use case that it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just said.
Just don't look at chat right now.
Yeah, I'm
banning everybody.
Our mods have it under control. Jesus Christ.
What is happening right now? Okay, sorry. This is an example of why
for anyone listening at home, we are being like bot attacked in our channel right now. Is it because we used the word ban and all of a sudden they just like flooded into the channel? What the fuck?
Probably.
I have never seen this many back to back. I've never seen this many. Usually they come in like in pairs, 2 or 3 at a time. I've never seen. There's like 15 easily right now.
It's
anyway,
a lot of
don't look at
effort.
chat while you talk.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort from some small-decked individuals, so I wouldn't even pay attention to them.
Just to address a question in chat, Virago said, is there a Twitch function for a 1-day ban rather than going right to a full ban? Yeah, you can time
They
out.
have timeouts.
Yeah.
So you can effectively temporarily ban them for as many seconds as you like. You know, and if you've got the time and effort to do it, you can time someone out just for 24 hours or something like that. It's just funny story. Like there's a streamer I like to watch called Ludwig, and he would do a thing where he was creating a music playlist with his chat. So his chat would suggest a song, and then they would vote whether or not it was good or bad. And if it was bad, and he decided not to put it in his playlist, he would do a random number generator on Google between 1 and 1,000,000, and then whatever number came out, he would time that person out for that many seconds. Which is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Asmongold doing a stream where he would go back and review unban requests. I've seen other streamers do that, and that's interesting because they're turning it into content, which is funny. But I don't see most streamers wanting to do that every single day. And yeah, I feel like in a small channel, your unban request is going to be denied because chances are you're banned for a good reason. Yeah. And in a big channel, I feel like your unban request is going to be ignored because presumably there's going to be thousands. Unless you have a very dedicated mod team that are going through these and double checking them and doing all this. But again, it's almost impossible because every one, you're going to have to look at the chat history of that viewer, and then you're going to have to decide if you believe that their little brother was on their account. You know, it's, yeah, it seems like a not a very useful feature, but, you know, I guess we'll see.
I think it's one of those things where, like, I don't think a lot of thought went into it. I think there could have been a lot better ways where it was either like a panel and they create a dashboard. But the fact that they can directly like interact with chat through the mod view, if you think some of these bigger streamers could have tens of thousands of these a day, you know, the bots would purposely go out there to try and get banned. When they get banned, they appeal it. So like we're seeing in chat, it's just another way for dickless individuals to just try and be cunts. I mean, if anything, it gives us something to talk about. The fact that these bots are coming in just now proves everyone's point. You know, you ban them and you move on. It's their effort that they're wasting, not ours.
So wait, so these bigfollow.com bots, are they not just like, I guess somebody's purposely sending them here? I thought they just roamed Twitch automatically.
I would imagine every bot has some sort of algorithm to go elsewhere, but the fact that we've been specifically botted this many times, it's too much of a coincidence. So somebody sent them you.
Hmm.
So it's all right. You can waste your effort.
That's interesting. Well, anyway, I mean, do you have any other thoughts on this unban feature?
It's a
No,
shift
I think
feature.
I think that someone maybe just didn't think through the particulars before implementing it, but I think that it was well intended. I guess my curiosity is Safe Haven in chat. It sounds like you've interacted with it before as a mod for other channels. I guess my question to you is: you said that it appears as an icon that you could interact with. Is it something that is easily ignored if you are using mod view? Is this something that you can um, choose simply not to like dive that extra layer into and look at? Because like right now I'm in mod view for this channel, and I can there's links for like block terms, permitted terms, you know all of that stuff, but if I don't click it, it's just a hyperlink that's there. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can minimize it. So you can minimize the layer. If you don't choose to see it, you could basically, it still functions the way it would if you ban someone and you just don't ever review your unbans. Just minimize it and it's gone. I guess, yeah, I guess I'm of the mind that like I don't like the idea that someone who is being antagonistic or hostile towards someone and using like inflammatory language to attack a streamer or their community, that's fucked up and shouldn't continue happening through a secondary channel like this unban appeal. But if you can just ignore it and you are comfortable saying, we banned you for a reason, we're not going to review these, I guess just leave it minimized for now,
Hmm.
because it doesn't seem like you need to worry about it.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that I guess as a streamer, a lesson I learned recently is that you need to take steps to make sure that you're not going to be getting harassed by some of these people outside of stream. I personally, I banned someone from my channel a few months back who basically then went to Steam to start sending like death threats and things to me through another platform. Recently, I banned someone in my stream that immediately went and started whispering me. Because I forgot to turn off the, don't accept whispers from strangers kind of thing. I don't really ever use Twitch whispers. It's very rare that I use them. So make sure that's turned off if you don't want to deal with that, because I had to deal with somebody harassing me in private messages after I banned them from my stream. So there are always, there's ways around it. So it's definitely worth looking into those and making sure those aren't an option for a banned person. Knight in chat just put in a comment which I think is useful as well, where they said, Twitch's idea was probably, rather than the person receiving thousands of Twitter DMs for unbans, they keep it all in their ecosystem, which is a good point, because I do imagine that certainly larger creators do probably receive a lot of direct messages from people asking to be unbanned.
And let's be frank too, if someone's going to be a dick and they really are going to try and pester a channel, like they're not going to stop. I mean, just whether or not Twitch even put in this feature, they're going to find another means. They're going to join your Discord afterwards and they're going to spam in your Discord. They'll make a dummy Discord account after that one's banned. Like
Exactly.
if someone's going to be persistently an asshole, they're going to keep they will find ways to do it. Their imagination will know no bounds.
Yeah, definitely worth pointing out. But yeah, I haven't had to deal with any of these yet, so I guess it's just another new feature that Twitch is throwing in, and we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. Do we have any final thoughts, or do we want to wrap up?
I think that was it for our docket.
All right, and great, we have a good clickbait title. We got botted during the podcast. Perfect.
Mid-stream.
Thank you so much. That works perfectly. All right, well, yeah, we're gonna wrap up the show here then. First of all, Cyber, where can everybody find you on the internet, and what have you got coming up?
You can find me on all major platforms: the Cyber Project, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. This week is going to be kind of hectic. I do have a tattoo booked for the 13th, Friday the 13th. So I'm either going to get an infection or it's going to be the best tattoo I've ever had. I am getting like a Harry Potter themed gap filler there, so I'm gonna need to design everything to do with that. I'm getting the death mark for any Slytherins in the house. Apart from that, I'm gonna be playing Tarkov on Tuesday and Thursday. The video that I scheduled to get released, a lot of it was patched out, so that kind of pissed me off. So I'm gonna have to change everything that I wanted to change. Plus, this week has just been completely ridiculous. Yeah, it's a weird time. It's a weird time, but getting through it.
Awesome. Grog, what about yourself?
You guys can find me on Twitch at just_grog. Everywhere else, pretty much at gamer_grog, for Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. I stream 5 days a week. I do a variety stream on Saturdays with my wife. I am no longer doing Sunday streams after this podcast. I'm actually going to transition to doing those on Mondays instead. I feel like Mondays have actually, like, it was actually pretty good for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing how tomorrow goes. I play a lot of Call of Duty. I'm really looking forward to Warzone, and the changes that are going to come towards the end of the season, and Cold War that's going to be coming out this month, because it's already November. Oh my God. Also, I will try and hide in a bunker and not lose my mind 2 days from now, awaiting election results. Please pray for us.
Almost Christmas.
It's, oh my God.
Christmas
I
is
also
canceled this year. What are you talking about?
Dude, I was so annoyed. I checked Twitter this morning, and someone had said, Halloween's over, bring on Christmas. And I was like, dude, it's the fucking next day. Like, come on. Like, we haven't even hit Thanksgiving.
My Christmas
why
tree's
does
up.
Is it?
I just wanted to irk you a little bit.
I don't get why one holiday gets like 3 months of airtime. It just makes no goddamn sense. But anyway, I like Christmas. It's just, give me a break, man.
This year's gonna be weird this Christmas.
Yeah, man. Christmas is I don't know. There's something, like, obviously I love going and seeing family on Christmas, but if we're still in the same stage that we're at now, then there's something kind of nice about just having a nice little Christmas quiet at home. I'm kind of weirdly looking forward to that if that ends up being the case.
Every single year for probably the past like 6 or 7 years before, we always traveled. So I've either been in the US or I've been in Canada. So it's gonna be weird, like, not physically traveling for Christmas.
Yeah. See,
I'm just a little uncertain about Christmas this year, because last year I gave Condi my heart, and then the very next day he gave it away, and I just feel like I can't go through that again.
He did that to me the year before, so we'll set up some sort of like a meeting for Condi heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Guys, what's your favorite type of cheese?
Cheese, jalapeno and lime. Next question. Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried it?
No.
Then don't knock it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, my name's Condy Fly. You can find me Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and my main platform, which is TikTok. My video is about to hit 100K views. I am TikTok famous now, so that's just who it is. I'm going to be doing the Renegade and all the other dances any day now. I'm actually going to be going live right after this, playing some Call of Duty. I believe you're both joining, gents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna go do that. God, I had something else to say, but I can't remember what it was.
Was it about any particular clothing or merchandise, or?
We're not ready yet. We're not ready. We're not there yet.
Okay. All right.
We're not ready, or you're not ready?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess my coming week is going to be tough as well. I'm on working late shifts basically all of this coming week, so streams are going to be light from me. I think I'm going to do a Monday night one, but it's going to be super late by the time I get home from work, but I think we're going to go for it because we did the Ghost of Tsushima raid at the weekend, which was super cool. We didn't finish it.
I watched you play through a chunk of that. It looked really fun.
It's so good, man. It's really, really well done. They absolutely nailed it so far, but we only got approximately halfway through in a couple hours, so we're going to try and finish that this week. But yeah, failing that, there's not going to be too many streams for me, unfortunately. But I'll just make it up in TikTok videos. It's going to be fine. But yeah, more importantly, make sure and check out the podcast. If you haven't already listened, we did do an off topic, our very first episode of Zero Strategy off topic, which was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot
Best
of
one yet.
deep dark secrets about humps mainly. So that's on Spotify. It's not up on YouTube yet. We're working on it. But it is on Spotify if you want to go and have a little listen. We played Never Have I Ever and had a few drinks. It was a good time. This has been episode 33 of the DMCA podcast. We're gonna at this rate, this joke is gonna become reality, and that's what we're gonna have to call this podcast. But yes, thank you so much for listening. If you are listening on one of the audio platforms, we stream it live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zero Strategy Podcast, all one word. And if you're listening on the live stream and you enjoyed what you've heard, then go and check out the previous episodes on YouTube and on Spotify as well. We thank you all so much for listening. I don't know when we're going to do another off topic. I don't think we got one planned. I can't do one this week. So.
No, I don't think we're going to do it this week, but maybe next.
This week.
Well, I mean, if Cyber wants to do one this week, then go for it, but probably next week for the off topic episodes. But we'll definitely be back next Sunday for another episode of this, of, you know, old men complain about Twitch. That's basically it. Thank you so much for sticking around. We are going to go raid somebody, so go give them a follow, show some love. We will see you guys next week. Later.
Bye.